welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. If you see anything in this video that you liked and you would want to, not want to miss out, be sure to give this video a nice big like and also be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my builds. Anyways, so today for you guys, I did another random packs challenge, basically build. If you guys don't know what that is, James, the Sim Supply, basically, made a website where you can randomize packs and you can use it for like, not just for build challenges, because that's what I use it for, but you can use it for basically anything, gameplay, if you want to do like a legacy challenge or anything like that. What it does, it has all the Sims 4 packs there on a generator and you just randomize it. I do it where it'll always include a expansion pack, a stuff pack, and a game pack, one of each basically. So I do three, and I always include base game when I do this because base game, you kind of need it. So this time around when I did it, I ended up getting jungle adventure, island living, and perfect patio stuff basically. um, I was kind of nervous about it because when I saw Island Living and Jungle Adventure, I felt like that was a good combination because they're both tropical. But Perfect Patio, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna use it for. But I ended up using probably 2 or 3 items from Perfect Patio. But majority of this build I did it using Island Living and Jungle Adventure, like majority of it, because it just came with so many items. It came with a lot of decorative items. They came with a lot of shelves, furniture. The kitchen, when I do it, is mostly Jungle Adventure, because I actually use Jungle Adventure kitchen, like I like the stove and the fridge the most, and I usually use their countertops because they're brightly colored. Even though most of my builds I don't use a lot of bright colors, but sometimes in my personal builds that I don't upload anywhere, that that are just mine, that I feel like are not really like, what would you call, upward worthy, I use it for. Yes, I have those. Sorry. Anyways, so this house, I decided to come up with the beach house because I felt like it was a good theme. I kind of wanted to build in not Su, well, I did build in Sulani, but at first I thought about building in, what is it called? Silver Dorada that came with Jungle Adventure, but it is a destination world. And I know there's a cheat you can use so you can build there, but I wasn't sure what to make it to because you can't live there. Like if I built something there, it would have to be like, I guess like a rental, something you would rent while you're staying there. And I was like, I feel like that really wouldn't be that much fun. It might just be me though. So I went on ahead and I picked Sulani, and I figured I would make this a family home. At the end, it ended up turning into a 3-bedroom home with 2 bathrooms. And there's an upstairs and downstairs, of course. It's kind of, if you look at the shape of the house, it is pretty suburban-like, which I'm not really upset about. I was gonna go for something modern, but the last build that I uploaded was a modern build, and I didn't want to just keep putting modern houses, even as that is my favorite type of house to build, because it is. So I feel like the shape and everything came out pretty okay for the most part. I used some stone just to kind of give it some more definition. I used those windows from uh, Jungle Adventure that kind of look like, I don't know, they kind of look like doors for the most part, but they are windows, and I like how it's open, so it's really nice. Now, I did do this build on stream. This video alone was like 3.5 hours. I managed to cut it down to about 16 minutes. I had to cut out a lot, but it's really small stuff, like boring stuff, because I was pretty indecisive while I was doing this live because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a game plan other than that I wanted to build, a beach house, and I didn't really look for any kind of inspiration or anything. I was just kind of like, oh, a beach house, I can do that. So if this didn't come out exactly beachy, like probably some of the other builds that are on YouTube and stuff, I apologize. But I feel like I did, with the packs that I had to work with, I feel like this house came out really well. I really like it a lot. I might end up using it at some point, although it is really expensive. Unfortunately, I looked it up on the gallery. I want to say, see, I did this build yesterday. I looked it up tonight right now before I started recording because I had to take some pictures real quick. And to play it on the lot I built it on, it's over 100,000 simoleons. I'm really sorry. I didn't think it was that much money, but it is. But then again, there's a lot of people who cheat money, so I mean, I'm not really too worried about it. I'm sure somebody would still want to use it regardless. But I feel like the house is really nice. It's open-ish for the most part. There's plenty of room. For once, my living room isn't tiny. I feel like it's a pretty decent size for Sims to like have company over and stuff, which is a thing in Sulani. They do have it where the neighbors like to come over quite frequently, actually, and and like bring you food and hang out with you and stuff. So there's not too much crowding or any weird stuff like that. It's it's pretty decent. Anyway, so I finally finished the outside and the front yard, like the front yard with a little bit of decoration here, a little landscaping here and there, and I finished the back with a little bit of landscaping, well, not landscaping, but like decorative stuff and things. So they do have like lounge chairs out there to like hang out by the water and stuff. And then of course I made sure to put a ladder so they can just go out into the ocean. I for some reason really wanted to put a pool, but I learned that you can't put a pool where there's water at. I couldn't do it, so there's no pool in this build, which I guess it kind of makes sense because I mean I could have made like a second floor and put a pool that way because I've seen that done on houses, but I was like, I feel like the ocean is probably just good enough, so we'll just leave it alone. As you notice in the kitchen, I did start out with really bright colors. All that wallpaper stuff was from Jungle Adventure, the really pretty like bright colored tile and stuff like that. I really like it. But I felt like the kitchen was too red, so I went on ahead and picked like a more neutral color. So we have a lot of browns in this kitchen, which I am a huge fan when it comes to browns and like earth tones in general. So I feel like it brought the kitchen together really well. I ended up using those shelves from Jungle Adventure. I didn't know that they had a shelf that was like without all the little clutter items on it, so I was quite surprised. I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just add clutter things to it. That's fine. Not a problem. I'm trying to get better with using clutter. I know there's some builders who are so amazing with it. They do such a good job. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try to do something so it's not just empty. And as you can see, I do have the red shelf there, and I'm learning to use it more often. And it really does help when I use it properly. However, there's a lot of times where I am trying to use it and I'm not using it right, so it's giving me it gives me problems somewhat. But I end up, figuring it out. So I use it this build a few times. Also, I want to apologize as well if there's a lot of bouncing around in this build. I tried to cut out all the parts where I was kind of just like staring at the screen trying to figure out what I'm doing, or like if I was paying too much attention to chat and not actually building, because that does happen to me too. And I didn't want you guys, just staring at a blank, like not a blank screen, but like a frozen screen for whatever time. So I had to sit there and chop this video as much as possible. I cut out some parts when it came to like decorating the back of the house just because I I was being very indecisive when it came to a lot of items as to what I was going to use, what I was putting here, what do I do with this, and it was just an issue. So I just got rid of that. But anyway, so back to what we're doing. So the kitchen here is about done. I was just trying to add like some kind of wall decorations here and there so it would have something in it. And now here we're moving on to the living room. So downstairs there is a kitchen dining room, there's a living room, which is what we're doing now, and there's also a child's bedroom. The bedrooms are pretty simple, there's nothing like too extravagant there, but I mean it is like there's stuff in it, just not a whole bunch of stuff, because unfortunately when it comes to like making rooms for like children, they don't have a lot of stuff. I've been playing a lot of The Sims 3 the past few days. I've also been streaming The Sims 3, which is a lot of fun, and I was surprised so many people actually liked watching someone play The Sims 3. But I guess I get it because, in that game, not just because it's a complete game, but because there's just so many options. Now, when it comes to building, that game is really hard to build in. I struggle pretty well in that game trying to build a house just because the roofing system's really weird and stuff. Like it's just eh. So now when it comes to Sims 4, I love building in it. As for gameplay, it's severely lacking. I'm pretty sure all of you already heard about the Star Wars pack that's coming out. As much as I love Star Wars, I'm really not a fan of this pack. I went on ahead and watched like the early access, like from Dylan Gracie and from James to see what it was like, and they seem to really struggle with what to do in that world. There's not really any buildable lots in that world. You can't live there, it's just to visit. And when it comes to the missions, it turns out that it's just like a bunch of talking, just a bunch of like, I guess just not really gameplay. And I'm really disappointed, but we're not gonna ruin my build about that. I'm just not gonna buy it. It's not that big of a deal. But anyway, so moving on. I went on ahead and I found that skeleton there. I had never used it for any of my builds, and I think it's so pretty. I like how I just stuck it right there under the staircase. It seemed like a good spot to put it in. And as for the rest of the room, I feel like it went by okay, so everything comes together really well. And like I said, it's pretty big, so there should be plenty of seating and stuff for everyone. And also, it's you can't see it here, but in my game, before I started working on this room, I finally had my first build glitch where I was trying to build walls and my walls were invisible. I've never really had any glitches when it comes to building on The Sims 4, so this was my first one. I kind of panicked. Thankfully, all I had to do was exit the lot to go back to the world map and then reload into the lot, and it fixed itself thankfully, because I was about to cry because I felt I had done so much with this build already and I was not trying to start all over because I was already liking what I was doing. I felt I had come really far, so that was scary, but thankfully that didn't happen. I also went on ahead and used ceiling fans, which is something I don't really use. Even though we got that in a base game update, I never used them ever, and I felt like, you know what, since they're out here at the beach, and it's a beach house, ceiling fans might be really important. Which is funny because I have ceiling fans in my house. I'm pretty sure majority of people in their house have ceiling fans, but it's just something I never really think of when I'm building houses. So I like how I put them in almost every room I felt would be appropriate. So that was just, I don't know, I guess a cute little feature for me that I was pretty happy about putting in the house. Anyway, so here we are in the first child's bedroom. The second room that I built upstairs, I built it more so for a teenager. Um, just because, I mean, I don't know, it could also be used, I feel like, as another child's room. There's just not really any toys. But when you think about it, in this child's room, I didn't really put that many toys either, just because with the limited packs I was using, they didn't really come with any toys. And like the base game toys, I don't really use them. I try to use as much stuff from Parenthood as possible because, I mean, Parenthood came basically with kids in mind, and then like the kids room stuff or whatever it is, they of course have kids stuff in there too. So with the limited packs I was able to use, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that I could use, unfortunately. But I mean, they have a whole ocean. Like if the kids are bored, they have an ocean to play in, and they have sand they can build on. Like I feel like they'll totally be fine. They'll probably be outside more often than anything, since the weather in Sulani seems to be mostly sunny and hot for the most part. Even when it's supposed to be cold, it doesn't really get that cold in Sulani, so I feel like it's fine. Anyways, so now we're up here at the teenager's room. I know I bounced around from this room and the child's room just because I found the fishbowl and wanted them both to have one. I'm not sure why. I don't really ever use the fishbowl, but I felt like it was appropriate because of where they lived. Anyhow, so here we are at the master bedroom. Now the master bedroom is pretty decent size as well. I managed to put a dresser in there, which is a big thing because most of my builds don't have much. Like when I do my personal builds, they don't even have a dresser because I never use it. But I felt like since this was, you know, the master, it should have a dresser in there. I'm trying to, you know, make my builds a little different, make them a little bit more realistic. And it's a struggle, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like it's working out. I really am in love with the parents' room. I like the colors. The bed there I got from Jungle Adventure that I used because of the bright colors, and I felt like the carpet matched really well, so I went on ahead and grabbed that. To be honest, I feel like either living and Jungle Adventure are really good packs that go really well together. Like they really complement each other, and it made this challenge a whole lot easier for me. Like you guys have no idea. Like I struggled of course when it came to the shape of the house, but like once I had the shape down and it came to decorating, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, and I was quite proud of that, honestly. Anyhow, so we're almost done here with the master bedroom. I just add a few things here, add some more curtains and stuff like that because I tried to make sure that all the windows were covered in the build because that's important. I try not to leave walls too empty. This time I remembered to put some railing and whatnot around the stairs so the Sims won't fall down, even though they don't do that. On the outside, I just went on ahead and added a bookshelf and a little seating area to kind of hang out, just so the place right outside the rooms wouldn't be empty. And basically, that's about it. This is about to come to an end. I went on ahead and grabbed some screenshots for you guys so you could go on ahead and get a better look at, you know, what happened in the house, see everything and stuff. And of course, you know, the download link to this build, it's already on the gallery. I'm gonna have it in the description below so that you guys can go on ahead and be sure to download it if you want to. And again, if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment if you have something to say, and of course if you're not subscribed already, be sure to do so so you don't miss out on any of my builds. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!